Did you know that shape lives in the two-dimensional environment? Shapes make up 3D objects, but fundamentally, shape is 2D. It should be considered another one of the essential design elements, like line. Everything is made up of shapes, and our brain identifies or reads shapes first in its ability to decipher communication. There are 4 types of shape: geometric, natural, abstract, and non-representational. I bet you thought I was going to talk about squares, circles, triangles, cylinders, and other shapes you've seen or learned about in school. Yeah, we've seen those and make stuff out of those shapes, but when talking about shapes, they're much more complex than just the ones we've learned about in grade school. So let's start with geometric. Geometric shapes are geometric in their concept of creation. Usually math is involved, and they have edges and curves and arcs that are mathematically based. Natural is the second, or you could call it organic. Anything that is derived from nature, including the human form. Third is abstract. It's a natural shape altered to emphasize an essential quality of that shape without referencing the realistic depiction of the original shape. So let me explain that again. So abstract, you start with an object that's real, and you emphasize an essential quality of that object when you're making the shape. The last one is non-representational, or another name for it is called non-objective. There's no original shape. There's no realistic object. A lot of non-representational shapes come directly out of your imagination in your head, and they don't reference anything in the real world. There's another kind of shape falling under non-representational. It is called biomorphic shape. The shape has no original from realistic objects or events, but through the audience perception, it connects to real things. So the audience interprets your shapes that you make, and they think that they are real things in the world. Those are called biomorphic shapes. Form is an extension of shape, but it also has 2 other essential ingredients when you're making form. One, you have to communicate mass, and you have to communicate volume when you want to make form. Mass relates to a large amount of something. It can be anything. It can be line, it can be color, it can be lots of shapes on top of one another. So when you're creating mass, you have to do something over and over and over again, or use something over and over and over again to create the perception of mass. That gives something form. The second thing is volume. Volume relates to the implied weight of something. So implied weight means you're not actually touching it, but you're seeing it and you have a perception of the weight. That's volume. So on a two-dimensional surface, we use tricks to communicate the implied nature of form. We can use gradients or shading. This creates the perception of volume. Remember the implied weight of a shape. We can use cross-hatching or a mass amount of lines, which again helps us to perceive a form coming out of those lines. Shapes can create texture, and their essence can be used for emphasis and communication. If something is a different shape than expected, then it will stand out. As you move through your day, moving in actual and virtual space, try to notice all the shapes around you that you touch, that you intersect with. See what they are being used for, how they're being used, to build things, or to communicate a message. Pay attention to how you see shape first before you understand anything else about it.